Did you know the average person spends 7 hours a day looking at screens? That's nearly half of your waking hours gone. Studies show that this constant stimulation rewires your brain, lowering your attention span to just 8 seconds shorter than a goldfish. On top of that, over 75% of people admit they can't go more than a few minutes without checking their phones. We're not just addicted to our devices, we're addicted to dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical. I was no different. Stuck in this endless loop of instant gratification, I felt like my focus, creativity, and discipline were slipping away. So I decided to take a stand. For 2 days I cut off all stimulation, no phones, no Netflix, no junk food. What happened next? It changed my life. I'm a former chemistry graduate turned content creator. My life was once a series of calculated equations, but I've since become obsessed with mastering the formula for self-discipline and focus. Let me take you through the toughest yet most rewarding 48 hours of my life, the Dopamine Detox Challenge. From Instagram likes to late-night YouTube binges, we're addicted to instant gratification. It's like junk food for the brain, cheap, easy, and leaves you feeling empty. I found myself endlessly scrolling, looking for that next hit of excitement, while my goals sat untouched on the back burner. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical. A detox means cutting off artificial rewards, no screens, no sugar, no unnecessary stimulation for a set time. For 2 full days I committed to no phone, no TV, no junk food. Just silence, solitude, and simplicity. Day 1. The first few hours of the dopamine detox were nothing short of brutal. I felt like a smoker who had just quit cold turkey, except my addiction wasn't to nicotine, it was to constant stimulation. My hands instinctively reached for my phone, even though I knew it wasn't there. My mind wandered, restless and craving distractions like a man craves air. Without the usual flood of notifications, videos, and quick dopamine hits, time seemed to stretch endlessly. Minutes felt like hours. I sat in silence, staring at the wall, unsure of what to do with myself. It was as if my brain had forgotten how to function without external input. The discomfort was overwhelming, almost unbearable. But in that silence, something unexpected happened. I started to notice just how uncomfortable I was with myself, with simply being. My mind wasn't used to stillness. It was like a muscle that had atrophied from years of overuse in the wrong way. I realized that I had been using distractions as a crutch, a way to escape the quiet moments that forced me to confront my thoughts, my emotions, and my reality. The silence wasn't empty. It was full of questions I'd been too busy to answer. Who am I when I'm not scrolling? What am I avoiding by keeping myself constantly entertained? This was the hardest part of the detox, not the absence of stimulation, but the presence of myself. And that's when I understood. We're not just addicted to dopamine. We're addicted to avoiding the silence where real growth happens. Day 2. The clarity emerges. By the time day 2 rolled around, something inside me shifted. The initial restlessness and discomfort from the first day began to subside. The constant noise in my head, the endless loop of to-do lists, notifications, and fragmented thoughts started to fade. For the first time in what felt like forever, my mind wasn't racing. It was quiet, calm, and oddly peaceful. That stillness created a space I hadn't felt in years. Slowly but surely, ideas and thoughts I hadn't processed in months began rushing to the surface. It was like clearing out a cluttered attic suddenly. I could see all the forgotten treasures buried under years of mental junk. Creative solutions to problems, memories I'd ignored, and plans I'd shelved were all there, waiting for me to notice. And that's when it hit me. All this time, the endless stimulation had been suffocating my creativity and discipline. The constant stream of distractions, no matter how small, had been robbing me of the mental bandwidth I needed to think deeply and act intentionally. Without my phone buzzing or the temptation to watch just one more episode, I finally had the space to connect with my own thoughts. I realized that true creativity doesn't come from consuming more. It comes from creating space to let ideas breathe. And discipline. It thrives in an environment where distractions are stripped away, leaving you with no choice but to focus on what really matters. Day 2 wasn't just a turning point in the detox. It was a turning point in how I approached life. By removing the noise, I rediscovered the clarity and focus I'd been chasing for years, and it was there all along, buried under layers of unnecessary stimulation. Now I am going to share with the top 3 lessons that I learned in this journey. Lesson 1. Focus is a superpower. Before the dopamine detox, I had a habit that I'm sure many of you can relate to. I'd sit down to work, open my laptop, and within minutes, I'd feel the urge to check my phone. It didn't matter if it was a text, an email, or a social media notification. I was always chasing that next little dopamine hit. It fractured my focus and left me spinning my wheels without actually getting much done. But after the detox, something incredible happened. I sat down to work on a project I'd been procrastinating on for weeks, fully expecting to feel that familiar itch to grab my phone. But this time there was nothing. No distractions, no mental tug-of-war, just pure, uninterrupted focus. For hours I was completely locked in. Tasks that once felt overwhelming were suddenly manageable. I wasn't just working. I was producing at a level I hadn't experienced in years. That's when I realized focus isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. And like any superpower, it grows stronger when you stop diluting it with distractions. Lesson 2. Comfort zones are dangerous. During the detox, there were moments of sheer discomfort. Sitting in silence, doing nothing, felt like torture. My mind screamed for the usual distractions: a quick scroll through Instagram, a YouTube video, anything to fill the void. But as I leaned into that discomfort, I began to understand something profound. Those moments of unease were the moments of growth. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone, numbing yourself with fleeting pleasures. But growth, real growth, only happens when you're willing to embrace discomfort. By pushing myself to endure the silence and resist the urge to seek instant gratification, I built a kind of mental toughness I didn't know I had. The detox taught me that avoiding discomfort only delays the inevitable. Facing it head-on is what makes you stronger. Lesson 3. Control your mind, control your life. On the second night of the detox, as I sat quietly reflecting, a powerful thought struck me. I had spent so much of my life being a slave to distractions. My time, my attention, and even my thoughts were being dictated by my phone, my cravings, and my habits. But in that moment of clarity, I realized something even more powerful. If I could control my mind, if I could resist the constant pull of stimulation, I could control my life. When you stop reacting to every notification, every fleeting desire, you start living on your own terms. You reclaim your time, your focus, and your purpose. That empowerment was unlike anything I'd felt before. It wasn't just about getting things done. It was about finally feeling in charge of my own destiny. The lessons from my dopamine detox weren't just about productivity or focus. They were about taking control of my life, breaking free from the chains of instant gratification, and embracing the discomfort that leads to growth. If you're feeling stuck, scattered, or unfulfilled, I promise you this. The key to unlocking your potential isn't out there. It's within you, waiting to be rediscovered. You just have to clear away the noise and let it rise to the surface. I dare you to take the Dopamine Detox Challenge. Just for 2 days, pick one weekend and try it. No screens. No distractions. See what happens when you let your mind breathe. If I, someone who once struggled with endless distractions, could find clarity in just 48 hours, so can you. The rewards are worth the sacrifice. Control the dopamine, and you control the direction of your life. Take the challenge and thank yourself later.